we like you to meet Sweet Charlene, the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to eddywrightbarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pitmasters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast. I'm your friend Charlie Maverick here, and let me see who's on the pod with me this week. I got T. How you doing, man?
What's happening, man? Doing good. How y'all?
Oh, good. Happy to be here to talk live fire. And we got Felix. How you doing, Felix?
Man, I'm doing good. Just running around like a squirrel in a cage, waiting to be let loose on Florida. You know, so it's I'm in light of who I am. They're not to us yet, so the people still got to eat. But no, I'm excited. I've been doing some cooking, finishing up stuff. I have one final event here in Alabama, and I'm out.
Oh, cool! Nice to have you on the pod again. So let's we got a lot to cover. So it's the last day of May. The last few episodes we've been talking about National Barbecue Month. And we ended off this last weekend of May with Memorial Day. So a lot of activities going around in the United States and I guess the world, but particularly the United States because of the history behind it. And everybody seems to go out and actually start to light up the grill for leisure purposes. What have you guys seen this past weekend, and what did you do? Who wants to go first, Felix or T? Who wants to go?
I can go. So for me, Memorial Day, being a veteran, I don't always like barbecue and stuff like that. I usually don't because it's a day of memory. You know, I have family and friends who aren't here, and it's just one of those things for me. I just do self-reflection, mainly on that day, not the whole weekend, but on that day. And I look at it, and this is a moment of education for some folks. Don't tell a veteran Happy Memorial Day, please. That's not what you say. It's not a happy. It's Veterans Day, whatever other day, go for it. Memorial Day is not for happy. It's not for sales. It's for remembering those people who aren't here. So when I say that, barbecues, hanging out with friends, is what I would want to happen with my family and friends if I wasn't here, and give them that day to remember me, laugh, and do all that kind of stuff. And since I'm sublocated from a majority of my family right now, I actually had an event on Memorial Day. A young lady graduated high school, is going to University of South Alabama. Roll Tide! I don't know, really. But we cooked a lot of food for them. They did 3 proteins. They did 3 sides. Had ribs, chicken, and pulled pork, mac and cheese, potato salad, and my red beans and rice. Amazing backyard. Had the truck in there. Did it up. They're very welcoming family. After the event, I was all packed up, and they're like, "Come on, hang out." And we just hung out and drank and just had a really good Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. Does it feel different this year than it did maybe last year, or more in contrast to the couple of years before that?
For me, I can't really tell, just because now this year I'm really in the barbecue world with the food truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing way more content, TikTok and whatnot. And like I said, sublocated, so I'm more focused on it. So I do see more people cooking. I hear more people talking about cooking. When I was in the stores, they're all set up for it and whatnot. So you see them pushing their grills and the sections and the charcoal and everything is up front. So I am more aware of that, because I think it's probably always been there, but it all depends on where you're at in your life and your mind. You might not even notice.
Yeah, that's true. So T, how about you, man? What have you been up to this past if you want to call it a holiday weekend? What have you been up to? I know there's some
Man,
graduations you've been at,
yeah,
right?
graduations on top of graduations, and it was cold and raining.
That's
Ooh.
great.
Yeah, they were supposed to be.
Wait, South Carolina.
Well,
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Y'all got the
y'all
cold
been having
front.
crazy
yeah.
weather.
Every Memorial weekend, it seems like it's going to rain on the coast, regardless.
Yeah.
There's always some sort of tropical depression, hurricane, something out there. As a matter of fact, there was a cruise ship, Carnival cruise ship, that had to come
I
back to
saw that.
Charleston because they hit high winds and high storms, waves, everything.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, I'm wondering about that because I was on a cruise like some years ago and a hurricane was out there, but the captain went around that hurricane and we just had to double back. So I'm trying to figure out what went wrong.
They don't make them like they used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
But
those ships are disposable.
Or maybe he's smarter now. I don't know.
but that was it, man. A bunch of rain, a bunch of graduations. Didn't throw anything on the grill. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you ain't
used
had time.
no. I mean, I could have did something, man, but pretty much just when Memorial Day came, it was actually sunny, so we just chilled out
That's
and
good.
kind of, like Felix said, reflect.
Yeah.
Because that's usually a time where my family members share like pictures of some of the veterans in our family that passed and family members that I didn't get a chance to meet because I wasn't born yet. But
Yep.
Right.
yeah. But other than that, yeah, it was just a chill. Well, after all the graduations and all the rain, it was a chill,
Yeah.
chill week.
Yeah. Around here, I think. Well, I had to cook for a couple of customers. So that Friday and Saturday, super busy. But Sunday and Monday were pretty chill. So I got a chance to, just relax. And, I was talking to mom and whatnot. And, we just released a pod on the Mavcast talking about Memorial Day
Oh yeah,
before it
that was
actually.
real
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
deep at
man.
the end, man. I meant to tell you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so yeah, my dad is a retired vet. You know, it does mean a lot
Mhm.
to just take the time and reflect on things because if you think about it, there's a lot, and I don't know if this is big conversation around black families or whatnot, but there's a lot of black males that went to Vietnam and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I know and whatever, um, and they went to find their sibling and they never came back. And
Yeah.
as you were saying, the ones that you were, too young to meet, you hear about their great lives and their great courage and their contributions. And you just gotta, it's time to remember. It's time to remember
Yeah.
and just put things into perspective. Yeah. And
Yeah. Remember where we came from and who we came from.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And it's all good to have the festivities, but we always got to remember why we're here. It's just not to burn up some burgers on the grill.
Yeah.
Is the fellowship in the memory of those contributions. So that means a
Yep.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So with that being said, um, I wonder how many people burned up the food and the cookouts, man. It happened, right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, it happens. It's like tragedies over, we're worrying about socialized healthcare. We need to socialize barbecue.
I'm telling you. All right. I think we don't want to be preachy, right? Maybe we
Yeah.
will. But there's some things you got to come into the cookout knowing before you all willy-nilly be burning some stuff up, right? So
Oh, definitely, man.
I think it's an opportunity because you didn't make it through Memorial Day on the grill. So we're gonna help you make it through 4th of July. Matter of fact, first we're gonna help you get through Juneteenth.
Yeah.
These people ain't
What's
gonna
that?
make
What
it.
is that? No, let's not go down that road.
Man, I'm telling you. First of all, burgers. Let's start off with the easy stuff, man.
Yeah.
What advice do you guys have to give an amateur or a person that thinks they're not, but they probably should be in that category? Advice on how to prepare a burger correctly so it's not a hockey puck.
I tell this to everybody: you live and die by your gear. Get a good stick probe.
Yeah.
Get a good probe. Get good equipment. You don't, and good does not mean expensive. It just means good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
because I started my barbecue journey off because I like to do stuff with not the cheapest that we got, but that is kind of what the military does anyway. Because when they say mil spec, it's cheapest buyer and bidder.
Right.
And if I can do, hey man, that little thing lasted me 4 years. Then I had to upgrade to something better and upgrade to something better. There's always stepping stones, but live and die by your gear. That's the first thing before you start cooking anything. Have the proper utensils, and things of that nature. Because when you're on the grill, it's too late to run to the store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You
that
got
preparation.
plastic spatulas.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh no. Let's cross this bridge. First of all, flag on the play.
Yeah,
Flag on the play.
yeah.
Plastic. Look, I don't know if you were good in science, people, but fire and plastic ain't friends. Plastic will burn when
And
it's
melt.
melt and everything. It's not the optimal thing for you to use when you are dealing with fire. I don't think you should do that. But hey, if you got the silicone stuff out there, it's close enough. It's plastic's cousin. Don't do that.
It will melt.
It'll still melt. Yeah.
Someone
I've seen it
had a
happen,
picture on that green egg, and they put the freaking deal on top of the green egg to let it just.
Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, I mean that's one of those times where you like, man, I don't have any gear, and you just run into the kitchen.
Find something metal. I mean, if need
Yeah.
be, use a fork. Just a regular
My
fork.
tips are always just in general in your kitchen. Your utensils should be metal or bamboo. That's it. Metal or bamboo.
Yeah, and I think when you go to get tongs, try to get good tongs.
Not the salad ones. Not the salad
Not
ones.
the salad ones.
No,
Not the
not the
one
salad
with not
one.
the little holes in the thing. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
make that stupid shape. Don't get those. No.
Yeah, no.
You'll hate yourself. The thing
And
will
don't get
twist up on you.
complicated ones. They sell them at Sam's. They sell a decent set, a long and a short guy, or I think no, they're two the same lengths. They're just good spring tongs. I have like 6 pair.
Oh,
Don't buy one. You're gonna need more than one because.
Yeah. And if it don't click right when you do that 3, it ain't for you. You
Yeah.
click those 3. You look stupid in the store doing it, but click it. Does it feel right?
Doing the function
No.
check.
Right. It has to be ergonomic. People just they look at the thing and they're like, "Well, I want that."
Yeah.
What if your hand is too big for? What if your grill?
Or if it's not big enough, or the spring is too. I had one pair of tongs once, and it was from the barbecue set, and I remember I like crushed them down because the spring they must have used some kind of like industrial. Because dude, that shit was like that old Chuck Norris weight machine. You be sitting there flipping chicken, getting cramps. I'm like flipping chicken, like I gotta switch hands. It's like doing sets. I am not gonna lie.
Oh man. Oh, don't feel like that.
yeah.
No.
And whatever you do, if you got a large grill, please use the large tongs. Don't try to use the little baby ones because you will burn your
Yes,
fingers trying
long.
to flip. Yeah.
You will burn. Yep, long extended tongs.
Yes. It's at Walmart.
Yeah, don't catch
It
a
doesn't-
flare
I wish
up
we
while
had
you're
a.
doing it.
I wish we had a picture to show the tongs
Right.
that someone posted in chat.
Just Google
5
long
foot.
grill tongs. Go with that one. And start from
Yeah.
there. It doesn't cost a lot. Try the one from Walmart. If it doesn't work for you,
Yeah.
hey, at least you know that you need a long tong so you're not reaching across trying to flip the bird and your whole arm burn up.
Yes, it will.
You don't want to look weak.
Knuckles
at the
get
cookout.
hot quick.
Then you be at the cookout and somebody say, "Ow!" Like, what was that? Oh, he
Set
can't
chocolate.
grill no more. No, take him off the grill. No, he can't scream like that.
And that's usually when the burn up happens, because now you're trying to scramble to find something to flip it over, and you're just wasting
Yep.
time. Wasting time.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
Have your gear there. So have your aluminum pan or tray, preferably aluminum pan. It kind of holds the heat better.
Yes, sir.
You could I put sometimes like some Worcestershire and butter in the bottom of it. So when the burgers come off the grill, it'll mix with that, and it kind of gives it a nice little flavor too. It depends on the kind of burgers I'm making, but have that out there when you bring your food out. Have all the stuff for your food out there with you. No back and forth to the kitchen. You know,
That's right.
Yeah, because somebody will
That's a lot
stop
of
you, or you will get distracted, and then it's like, oh.
and distractions.
Yeah.
If you're on the grill,
man.
you're on the grill.
Yeah.
That is one of the things. Like if you can peel off and just have a convo with someone there, they're gonna walk up to you. You're the one you're the one making the food. You're the important person at the time. They can come up and talk to you while you're on the grill,
That's
sitting
right.
there. You know, always
They
have your
doing
grill
that?
in view because, and that's more than just for the food. That's just for safety aspect, especially if you're using.
Exactly.
You never know. You like even another gear tip. When I lived out in South Dakota, I had all those grills out on my back patio, and I'm in the Black Hills National Forest, like literally patio forest. And I bought a fire extinguisher
Hey.
Yeah.
because if one of my embers from um, my traditional smoker, or heaven forbid, I've actually had embers from my pellet pot. The wind kicks up enough, it throws one out. I had a fire extinguisher out there with me.
And
Just-
flare ups too. If
Yep.
people don't protect themselves against flare ups,
They don't clean their smoker or
Right.
grill, and they let all that grease be up in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
safety. Hey,
some
I've had them, but I learned the hard way. You got to go through them, but
Mhm.
prefer you not like do what I did. And I'm sitting there with that Oklahoma Joe's DXL, amazingly built smoker, doing a tomahawk. Luckily, it was a tomahawk, and I cranked it up to 700, and I had that tomahawk sitting in there in the middle because I didn't think at the time like I should just get it cranked up
Yeah.
and then put it on. And I walked outside. Luckily, I never put that under my overhang. I came back to a almost 3-foot flame, just like a jet
Damn,
engine,
son.
and I was like, oh, look at that.
Well, how was the sear on that bad boy though?
Dude, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like almost 2.5 inch. It was a thick. Luckily, it was a thick boy.
Oh, yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie. Like I went and I grabbed a bone. I just grabbed a bone and pulled it off, and closed the door. And then I just brought it inside real quick. I'm like, I wonder what the sear looks
Oh man. Oh man. That your heart
Yeah.
was like dropping. You're like, this might work out.
Yeah. I wasn't worried because when you can see the whole steak and the fire's just like going around it, you're like, yeah, we good.
Yeah. Now, when you can't see the steak,
Yeah, you can't see the steak. But yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
have the appropriate gear, safety first. People might think a fire extinguisher is extreme if you got grass, but like I said, being lived in South Dakota so long, grass fires go very, very fast.
especially if it's dry
And-
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's dry outside, so you can lose a lot more than just that steak.
Yep. That's right. Most people are going to be grilling frozen burgers for the summer. That's just how it is. And what would you suggest them do to avoid shrinkage or massive shrinkage down to nothing? Or I had to clarify that. I had to clarify that, man. If you're looking at the video, I'm making a shape of how a burger shrunk. This sounds bad. But
It does.
Yeah.
it sounded horrible. Pause.
Avoid cold water.
Oh man, right? Yeah. Or to have that burger turn into a super hockey puck, and to be seasoned, right? Because it's frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get a first of all a good brand, because those cheap ones,
Yeah.
they're gonna just really just shrink
There's
up.
too much fat in them.
Yeah,
Right.
I would
Yeah.
say, but if you have to do those, you're probably better off putting them in the oven. Those real cheap ones.
Yeah, the cheap one.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
If you got to do the cheap ones, the oven is better to start them. And once they're started, if you want to throw them on the grill to get a nice little grill mark and get that flavor of the grill, you can finish it up. But they're very high fat content, so it just renders out. And
yeah.
I feel like those cheap ones kind of fall apart super easy. You know, if you don't super like do a hot sear on it first, then take it off or whatever, but it's going to shrink, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
not lean enough as well. It has all that fat, and that fat renders away. You got nothing left.
And
So
I think,
bubble-
like T said, if you don't, you got to. It's bran, so there's
Right.
not going to be much you can do about it shrinking. Lower your heat. Now, the cool thing about those, I've cooked those quite a bit for like being at people's parties and stuff. Because I don't know why I was always on the grill, but
It happens.
some people thaw them first. Don't thaw them first.
No,
Put
that's
them
a big
on
mistake, yeah.
cold.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, some people thaw them first, so put them on cold, and I let them do like a couple minutes on each side. Then I go and throw seasoning on them. Once that outer layer gets warmed up,
That's right.
and you let the inside hit 160 degrees and pull it,
Yeah.
you know, and put it in that tub. You can do like an au jus bath or something like that, where you can just get them put in there and
Yeah. I like to. I mean, when I do the frozen burgers, there's only one brand I do buy, and it's Bubba.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's the only consistent
good.
one that I see. What I like to do with that is like kind of do a reverse sear. They're frozen. You put it. You
Yeah.
have the green. You have the grill hot, like really hot, but you put it on the cool side. And if you want to get fancy with it, put a little bit wood in there so you get a little wood smoke. Once that outer exterior starts to thaw, like you were saying, start
Yeah.
the season. I put a little Worcestershire in there, kind of
Yep.
get a little
Yeah.
moisture. Then I put
Yep.
the season on kind of like a binder so it doesn't fall off, right? And then when it gets, no, I flip it over. I do the same thing, but when I feel that it gets to about 130 ish, then I start to put it directly on
Oh,
the
the
flame.
hard sear.
Yep.
Yeah. Get that flavor in there.
Yeah.
The grill marks.
Grill marks, yeah. And I think when you do the reverse sear like that, or you just bring it up slow so it can thaw then season, you keep it you keep the chance of shrinkage.
You can say this, you keep your moisture content in your patty up.
There you go. Pause.
You keep the moisture content in your patty up.
I could find something in that too, but we ain't gonna do that. Oh man. So with regular burgers, the fresh ones that you make, what suggestion would you give to people that are doing that? So it doesn't do the same thing. You know, it's not frozen, but it could still turn into like a meatball.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a question about that. Okay, so I've done both, right?
Yeah.
With and without an egg. It just depends. I don't really see a difference.
What you mean with the egg?
Yeah.
The binder for
Yeah.
the meat.
Yeah, but does it really?
And I believe it's when you're using cheaper meat, you need a binder. When you're not using
that's what it is.
cheap
Okay.
meat, because back in the day, you got to think of the people that were putting meat and breadcrumbs in their burgers to keep it all together because they didn't have quality meat.
That makes sense.
When I was again in South Dakota getting our, freaking whole, because we used to buy a whole cow every year, and the ground meat I got from that, I never had to do it. It was perfect ground, and I'd mix in. Now if I mixed in wild game, sometimes I would put the egg white in there for wild game or whatever just to get, but I don't really see, like you said, the benefit of doing the whole egg binder thing, because if you think about it, you're adding moisture to it. So I think it was the egg and breadcrumb combination.
Okay.
You know,
That's a good point. Yeah, because like I said, I
feels like you're making a meatball.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you're pretty much making a meatball.
Yeah, I mean,
Make a meatball.
Yeah, I would say just get yourself a good burger press and call it a day.
Yeah.
My wife just got
There's
me
some-
one. I've been doing it the hard way the whole time, man.
And it all depends on what kind of burger I'm making, like burger presses, or you get I had the little, almost like a Tupperware thing that you stuff the meat in, and you make it, and they made the nice thick, big round burgers, perfect size. Or if you're doing smash burgers, I do a 3 to 4 ounce meatball, and then I put whatever, if I want to put onions and stuff on the grill, put that on top of that. You let that sit until it gets its sear, and then take my burger press and I just smash it, on there, and that's how I do my smash burgers. Like, so I've had people look up, they're like, "Why you got like 19 meatballs on your grill?" Oh, like over by the grill. Like, there'll be burgers. Don't worry about it. There'll be burgers.
Like watch this.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think the big detriment to amateur cooks, or if you get caught slipping one day, is chicken. You don't want to be the guy or gal out there thinking that you got everything under control and you're like, hey, this will be done real quick. Now I need you to check to make sure that's cooked all the way through.
Yeah.
So
165 degrees.
yes. On
probe.
on the white meat, 165, please. Yes.
Yes.
Get a thermometer, man.
Stick probe. Get a stick probe. Nice.
Yeah.
Inkbird sells an amazing.
Love them.
I don't have one right here, but if you look at some of our videos, Inkbird on Amazon, no affiliation, has an amazing stick probe. It's orange, it's beefy, and it's probably the only stick probe that I've still consistently has lasted me since I've been doing this food truck. So probably 2 years. I destroy probes, and this thing has its own internal battery. I destroy crappy probes, like poking through fat, doing pork belly, poking through briskets. That little piece always breaks. Dude, this thing is, first of all, it's magnetized, it's rechargeable, and it's a beast. And it's like 12 or 20 bucks or something like that,
Yeah.
And I have an upgraded version of it, and it's an amazing piece of gear. But have that thing. Also, prepping your chicken. How you prep your chicken helps you cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Don't
Terrence,
leave breasts whole. Cut them puppies, fillet them in half, butterfly them. So you are only working with a thinner, consistent piece of meat all the way through, and you won't have the dry side, juicy side thing going on.
Yeah, that's major. The
polar opposites. So
Yeah.
Terrence, you cook a lot of chicken. When did you realize you were doing it the right way?
Since I started.
Good. That's the
That's what I'm
right
talking
answer.
about. That's what
the
I'm talking
right-
about.
It was a trick question, by the way.
I was like, when?
I was like, what?
Yeah,
You doing it
yeah.
wrong?
Because I mean, before I ever grilled anything, I knew how to cook. And so I knew what to
Yeah.
look for and what to watch for. I knew how the food should look. And I mean, for anybody who out there who's afraid and might think it's a drastic difference, it's of course there's some differences, but it's if you know how to cook, you'll be okay on the grill. Just keep your temperatures at a nice, manageable temperature. Don't try to cook, hot and fast is not actually super hot and fast. It's just, make sure the food is done, because you don't want to burn up stuff and then you have like a raw interior.
Yes.
And some people try to capture like that char. They think that it adds flavor, but that's just like you're just eating ash. Like if you just over charring your stuff and doing it on purpose, especially people that do that with hot dogs.
Yeah, overchar turns that caramelized sugar to ash.
Yeah, it's just it's not flavor.
Tastes like trash. Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely take your time, because that's the biggest transition too. Like you were saying, I knew how to cook, so I've baked chicken before, and I've made all the mistakes in cooking, like learning to have a probe. Why? Because when I was a kid, I made some chicken, and we almost ate raw ass chicken for dinner as a kid, but it was done on the outside. My dad picked it up, and it was like still squishy. Tried to had an old Uncle Sal coming to visit. Oh, everyone getting salmonella tonight.
Pass it around. Let's go.
But luckily
It's a family.
my dad caught it, and Yeah.
Oh man.
But when you go to the grill, that's another thing. I was like, when I first, I'm not saying the chicken was bad. It was great barbecue chicken, but it was annoying when you're probing that thick, and it's only the breast meat, really. You know, you
Yeah.
probe that thick side and you probe the thin side, and it's like, how is this? It doesn't equalize like a brisket,
Right.
Right.
you know? So you're still waiting for it to be done while the ends of your shit's getting tendery and crispy. So that's why I started filleting every time I do it. It gets flayed or spatchcock.
Yeah.
You know, I think people need to be comfortable with moving their proteins around freely
That
on
too.
their smoker and not feeling that if you put it there, it has to stay
It's
there.
Right.
that's where it lives.
You know, I'll move it. The fire is your friend because God made it, right? Um,
Yeah.
and you have to respect the fire, and the fire will respect you if you respect the fire. You first of all don't douse with any. If you can avoid lighter fluid, do that. But if you have to use lighter fluid, let the thing burn off, burn off, burn off, burn off, burn off, burn off, burn off. It's fine. Don't get that taste in it. Everything's fine.
Yep.
And then feel free to have a hot side and a cool side. If you don't feel gangster that day, or you feel you're gonna get distracted, protect yourself
Yes.
before you
And
wreck
as you said,
yourself.
Charles, the hot side and cold side,
Mm-hmm.
know your smokers like areas where the
Yeah.
heat where the hot side is and the cold side. And people might think that, oh, that smoker is just like that other one, so they're gonna be the same. So my master build gravity fed 1050, the hot side on my smoker is on the right side, right where the manifold comes out.
Hmm.
That's where normal hot sides or smokers are, is where the heat source is. My
Right.
buddy has the exact same smoker outside, and his hot side is literally on the opposite side of the
Wow.
smoker because his manifold something, the
Mm-hmm.
who's it or what's it. Because I was cooking on it one day. Then I was cooking chicken, and I'm like noticing. I'm like, this is the. He goes, no, my cool side's on the other. I was like,
Oh wow. Yeah, you got
oh,
to know.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every smoker is not created equal.
And it's not like you need to go get a thermal camera, even though we have one here and we went that, into it to take a look.
Wow. Okay.
Scientists.
You know, and well, mainly a bunch of military dudes just playing with cool shit.
Yeah.
You don't have to go that far, but you can feel like just roll your hand, not like directly over the grate, but you can feel once your smoker's 2A temp.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of put your hand over it, and you can feel the thermal drafts of, okay, that's the hot side. This side or the middle doesn't feel as, hot or whatever. So you know where to put it. You know where to let it go rest.
Yeah. You got to feel comfortable. Make yourself in an environment that is conducive to you not failing that day. Because if you fail that day,
Yeah.
what is going to happen is they're either not going to come to your cookouts no more, or they're going to eat before they get
Oh.
there.
Which would technically make your cookouts a lot cheaper. I'm just saying.
But they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you that they're going to do that. They're still going to show up, maybe, but they're not.
They
They're
might
going to
show
put
up
all the food
after
on
a
the
while.
plate.
They're not gonna show up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
don't let anybody.
Or you can look
rush
into
you.
a nice caterer from like Who That's Food and Catering
There
or
you go.
Charlie, and we can
Yeah.
cater your event.
Hey, let's go. Take the worry out of it. You
Let's
blame us,
go.
but we ain't gonna mess it up. We ain't gonna mess
That
it
is. Yeah, put the brisket down. We got you.
up. Terrence has said you got to cook that longer than 20 minutes.
Hey.
I'm gonna start camping out in Sam's at the brisket aisle, and when people see them buying briskets, I'll be like,
I
"Here's
don't.
my cup. Put that down."
I don't think Felix has heard my brisket story.
Oh, please tell it.
So,
Oh, I haven't. You were talking about it before.
so was that a was that a little men's get together? Right. This was in my early 20s. Never knew how brisket was cooked. I just know I really liked it. Right. So,
Yeah.
mind you, this is a group of people who always try to do stuff that they're not equipped to do, try to big dog and show off, right? So it was like, we got the briskets coming up now. So when I went over and sat down, I looked over and, I see like some steaks and they're flipping. And I'm like, okay, we got steaks too. And it was like, yeah, the brisket's done. And I'm like, Oh, so the sliced up stuff was brisket. So they sliced up the brisket and grilled it like steaks. I'm talking about rubber tire. It had a lot of flavor, but it was so, and I was just like, what is going on?
Something is
Yeah.
wrong.
Flipping steaks.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I was thinking, for one, you're gonna have a lot of protein at this party. Two, I hope that's not the brisket.
Yeah.
Like,
It was the brisket. It was the brisket. And Jeff brought up a point. He said maybe they thought that slicing it down would make it cook better, but nah, it was
It would
You
technically make it cook faster, but not 20 minutes.
nah.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's
brisket, folks, is a garbage cut of meat. It's not a traditional cut. That's why it's so. Yeah, you have to finesse it to be great because it ain't great by itself.
You got to give it love.
Yeah, it's a very
You gotta-
long cook.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to prep it right. You got to cook it right. You got to rest it right. You got to slice it right. Don't get caught.
So
slipping,
out of
man.
that whole thing right there, cooking it right, yes. Prep, subjective. Seasoning, subjective. Cutting, definitely not subjective because if you cut it against the grain, it's perfect. You cut it with the grain, just don't do that. And your briskets do not need to be aerodynamic. They're not going into space.
You made me call.
Don't give me, dude. It's almost like I got like how people like older people. You're getting older. I'm starting to get those things that make me go like when I see like a flag on something because I was military. That's in the wrong orientation. I'm like my eye like the stars and stripes go forward, like forward.
And
then,
man.
and then it's like with briskets when people are in there and like, oh, you gotta use the mustard binder and we gotta curve it for the airflow, and I'm like, that airflow? Like, what are you cooking this thing in a wind tunnel?
Right, a wind tunnel. Right,
you're putting it in a metal box that's gonna fill up with smoke and heat, and it's gonna touch every aspect. So I do have some content on my TikTok where I have actually bought a 20-pound brisket straight out of the plastic. No trim, no nothing, and then smoked it. And then I've smoked for my food truck. I've smoked some briskets with no seasoning on them just to see what happens. Guess what? As long as you keep your temperature consistent, if you're smoking it at, not this whole high, low, 80, 180, 200. No, just one temp. That's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
The temp you wrap it at, between 140, 160, whatever your preference is. Eddie is the one that got me on 140. And it makes an amazing brisket. And then you bring it to 205. And that's my perfect temp. Like, I literally will sit there until it says 205 on my probe. Then you let it rest for a multitude of hours.
Yes, as long as you can.
Yes, as long as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't serve brisket the same day you cook it. God help you. They will not love you anymore.
Unless you wake up like the early tradition, you wake up super early in the morning, and you get her done. And it all depends on how your smoker is. Because I can get a good brisket in about 6 hours.
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah.
You
just got to know how to work it. Move it. Yeah,
I'm done with the long and just 12-hour. Like, there's no need for that anymore.
Nah.
Like, yeah,
it's too hot outside, man.
Well, that and you're just like, I got shit to do. Like, we can hang out. We got drinking to do. Like, motherfucker, just 12 hours run on this shit. Goddamn people, come on.
The whole day is gone. The whole damn
which is good.
gone.
But I remember sitting out there. I'm like, man, I could have been drinking and eating. Now I'm just drunk and hungry.
It's not like ribs where you can like cut like the tip off and you can have like a treat and it's feeding you along the way. Nah, the brisket you gotta wait till the whole damn thing's done. I'm like, come on, man.
Yep.
Or you could do.
That's why I'm a proponent of grill
trim
snacks.
it up. You can trim it
Having
up.
Well, yeah, you can make a steak.
You can trim it up. I'm telling you. Oh, God help you.
I'm a proponent of grill snacks, though. I usually try to find things that I can put on the grill. Like my buddy showed me, he was making, rendering the brisket trimmings down.
Right. Yeah.
And some of the stuff you cut off that have meat on it, cut it up and put it on a smoker on a little tray or something. And I mean, dude, it's season it up. I'd pop it open, and that stuff gets done super quick. You
Yep.
know, and now it's not the superest, most tenderest thing, but you got that fat with that meat, and it's almost like really, half done burnt ends, but you can at least chomp on them.
Yeah, there's something so you don't fall out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't want to fall out. So, guys, great conversation about cookout stuff and the right and wrong way to do it. I hope you guys listen, and I hope your family appreciates you for the work that you're about to put in. And if you don't put in the work, then hey, don't blame us. Now, the other thing that we've been doing this past weekend for Memorial Day was watching a Netflix series that we've been waiting for, and that would be the Barbecue Showdown Season 2. Oh, man. I wasn't planning to binge watch that sucker, but I was like, yeah, my day's about to be gone. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It has its moments.
It felt different from the first season.
Yeah,
Now,
that
first of all,
doggone trench.
it changed the whole name. It used to be American. Yeah, it took the American out.
Yeah.
But they had nothing but American, so I don't know.
Was that one? No, that one guy's from. Yeah, he's American. They're all Americans.
I think it's because of that. The guy from California, Logan, because of his stuff, he was introducing a lot of different cultural stuff. So I feel like that's.
And they might be trying to branch the show out too.
Yeah.
They might be trying to like branch the show out internationally because you got Australia's kicking up on barbecue now. You got a lot of other countries starting to roll in. I think Australia might be, besides like Brazil and all that kind of stuff, but at American style barbecue, I think Australia is like kind of coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, and the feel of the show was totally different. I remember the season 1 where they had Rashid Phillips on there.
I like that guy.
Yeah, man, he's cool as hell. I hope we get him. Hey, Rashid, if you hear the show, this is the call. Please come on. We'll talk. Let's chop it up. But the aesthetics of the show are totally different. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'll obviously roll with it.
Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about the change?
So I like when shows kind of take stuff to a different level. So I was like, okay, but I don't know, man. Like it was fun to watch them do stuff in the trench.
Yeah.
I wish we'd saw some other cooks, but that was fun. I mean, it was very different. Right. I guess that was their way of leveling up. It was very challenging, to say the least.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. Open fire cooking to the max.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I wish there was more variety in the contest that they had. Like, it was fine to have them in that kind of gauntlet type of thing, but I wanted a little bit more of like season 1, for what it was, though. For what it was, I think it was very entertaining.
Yes.
I think it will. I don't know if it'll bring new people to barbecue because that is like another level. Yeah. You can barbecue for leisure, business, but that right there, oh man.
Yeah, that's neither thing. I think it will bring some people. We'll get some people that float in because the demographic of the folks they had on there, people with disabilities, people that don't normally look like they know how to say the word sauce correctly. New York chick, remember?
I got you.
She was, but no, you have a bunch of different style and a bunch of different people. Like T said, that one guy from Cali who got on the show. This is his first competition ever. He just started barbecuing this year or something like that, a couple months ago, and now he's on the show. So it's bringing in like other perspectives. They had one of the guys was a chef, wasn't he?
Logan. He was a chef.
Oh, Logan was a chef.
He talked about he was like a sous chef at 23,
being classically trained.
Like yeah.
Man,
those are the guys I actually like to see.
Yeah.
In our discipline, to see how they, fare with their, they bring all the knowledge of proteins and what what we're functionally doing without that degree background. That stuff we've
Right.
kind of figured out, but it's fun to watch them figure out something that you technically right now can't get a degree to do.
Right. Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Not
I
yet.
never thought about it
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Not yet. Nah. Yeah. The contestants. How do you feel about the lineup?
It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it
I
was-
don't think there's anyone in there that it was a good lineup.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
good lineup.
You know, I mean, we already know Joey Victorian. Shout out to Joey. We know Thyron, as well. Good friends of the podcast. So when I was I'm gonna be real, because when I was watching, I was like, I know Joey's about to kick everybody ass. I just know it. And when I saw it, I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just the eggs.
It was, yeah, and
That
he
had
has
to be
such a
it.
great humor. He
Yeah.
has such a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because did you see his IG with the T-shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was it.
And that's
Yeah.
for me. It's like
Yeah.
I've seen those shows. I've only been in one or two competitions for charity. I don't like that part of the culture. I know it brings people in, but I don't cook for an award. I cook to feed people. I just cook because I love it, and I happen to have the ability to feed folks while I do it. So to me, part of that show, like I watch it, and I know it has to be dramaful and stuff, but I believe every one of those people are most likely amazing cooks. Like I would eat their food 10 times out of 10. But it's like I said, it's entertainment. Like I even have to remind myself that about the judges, because sometimes we
Right.
listen to them judges and them you get on my nerves. I'm gonna be like, why don't you carry your own ass on the grill? Like I'm just like,
Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was crazy.
And I think that's
I thought
why
we had
they-
more judges last year though. Didn't they?
No, it was the
They only
same.
have two?
It was the same,
It
right?
was the same. They had a different host.
Yeah, the same two. I thought they had a
Yeah,
third
totally different
person though.
host.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
different host, but I thought there was 3 judges for some reason.
Wait, now
See,
you
I
got me
can't
wondering.
I'm confused. See,
Yeah.
I confused that with the barbecue showdown. The barbecue
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 Brawl?
brawl.
That was
Barbecue
That's the
Brawl.
one. Yeah, they have 3.
Yeah.
That's the one with Rodney on there. Yeah, and they usually come right after
Got ya.
each other. So we should be seeing that soon.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think that's why they made it so difficult this time, because they had like some really good chefs or pit masters, and
Yeah.
they had even the first season they had like a lot of people.
yeah.
So it's like, how can we
That
kind
knew
of
how to throw
Yeah,
down.
so how can we kind of throw them off and see what they really can do?
Shit.
And that
Dude, that's my whole thing. That whole thing would have thrown me
Yeah,
off.
that
I'm like,
trick,
as
boy.
soon as you got me bacon, like you got me bacon, I'll be like, where's the easy bake?
Like, we going home
bake-
today.
Woo!
Hey, baby, I'm coming back home.
Be like, I told you I wasn't gonna be gone for long. And a lot of that. That's what, so for me. That's the part that it would be fun, but knowing how competitive I am, I would just like to do if it was just a cooking competition for barbecue, not like you have to do this weird thing and you got to do this, because I'm sorry, I don't make biscuits. Like I do not bake. I can work on billion-dollar military aircraft, but put me in the kitchen with flour and water, I can make you. So you want to make a cast? I can make a cast. I cannot bake for shit.
Hey, I'm with you on that one. I can't do it. I can bake food, like protein and stuff, but if it's a pastry, nah, man.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I can't
I can do
do-
pancakes
made
because it's
ribs
on a
while I-
griddle.
I can do pancakes. I can make muffins out the box or the bag.
There you go.
If it's in a
'cause
box
we
or
can
bag, I got
read.
you. I
Yeah,
got
because we
you.
can read directions. That's right.
Got you.
It'd be
I even
wrong
put some
most of
extra
the time.
sprinkles in there. I put some extra sprinkles in there. I'm like, what?
Dr.
Gourmet.
You up here like Sandra Lee, semi-homemade.
Betty Crocker. French accent.
It's the #1 chief rocker.
Betty Crocker. But yeah, so I do like seeing it though, and like I said, it's entertainment. I think it will bring people just because they're gonna be so interested because it's barbecue is getting elevated nowadays. You know, you got
Yeah,
people
very.
eating cuts that they've never even seen before.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've known what a picanha is. I've eaten it mainly at a Brazilian steakhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about the oxtail thing. Whoever leaked that shit needs to go get some
Yeah.
charges. I'm so mad. I did beef
Ah,
cheeks the other day, and
Yeah.
I
oh,
luckily I just did a video on it. I didn't go detailed, but I know that's the next thing that's gonna go down the freaking
yep.
rabbit hole.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Prices
and
go up.
mind you, if you guys haven't bought them yet at Sam's, if you're feeding more than 4 people, get 2 packs because there was only maybe the pack of beef cheeks I got. I had probably 5 pounds of waste
Oh
to
yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe 2 pounds
Hmm.
or 1 pound of because it's so much. They
It's a
don't.
lot of fat.
There's
Yeah,
no. They literally just cut it out. They
yeah.
cut all this out, so you're getting a lot of fat in your package. Like literally, I might have had 5 medallion size or 4 or 5 medallion size pieces in some smaller spots. So it was enough to feed the family here of 5 of us, or yeah, 5 of us. But there's not a lot in those beef cheek containers.
Nah. Yeah, but the price is gonna go up though. It's gonna
Oh
happen.
yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Ah, man, I just hope that they don't touch pork loin.
Don't say shit. You mean
God
pork
damn it!
lion?
God damn it! I messed it up. There
No,
goes
I
the
don't
price.
think pork loin. I don't think pork loin. It's already kind of. Isn't it pricey already?
No, no. I mean, I usually get it from Costco. Get that big ass long thing.
Yeah, they have them at Sam's. I don't cook it a
Yeah.
lot though.
Oh
I
man.
don't. I don't
Yeah.
cook pork loin a lot.
When that thing hits $30, I'm like, "Ah, that's some bullshit. Because you can do so much with it. But anyway,
Yeah, you can.
back to the thing. So Thyron. I heard Thyron was going to be on a show, and Thyron's from TNT Barbecue. Thyron Matthews. I saw him on there, and I was like, I watch this guy on YouTube all the time. Personality is huge.
Yeah.
Great guy, very friendly. He's always willing to educate, take time, and he gives out his damn phone number on YouTube and say, "Call me, and I will talk
Yeah.
to you." I'm like, this is awesome, and the rapport that he had with everyone on the show,
Yeah.
everyone on the show. I was talking to my wife earlier, and I was like, April, if we have the chance to get Thyron on the show, I want to commend him for doing three. Let me not count him. He went on that show. He told a story of
Yes.
his family.
Yeah.
He brought the seasonings and the mop sauce, and he kept
Yep.
every chance. He was like, let me tell you what I'm going to use, what this is about,
Yeah.
my heritage, and the way that he put that together. And it kind of felt like at one point I was like, he almost went home. I was like, I hope he stays on because his narrative was so strong,
Yeah, I
and
can
he
watch the
was
show with that cat.
Yeah.
he's so good on camera. Oh man, the
Yeah.
confessionals
Yeah.
itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like when he won and you look back from the beginning to the end, you're
Yeah.
like, damn, that was a great run. I don't know
It
if I
was.
ever seen a run like that on a barbecue cooking. Damn it, any competition. I watch Top Chef all the time, and
Yep. I watched
I
Top
have
Chef as well.
never ever seen someone
Domination.
dominate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the fact that he was winning all the battles. It was the fact that he showed
Elevated.
he elevated. He showed vulnerability. He showed character, class, and he was just, hey,
Yeah.
Thyron was being Thyron, man.
Even those hiccups, he just kept going. Even with the hiccups, man, he kept going. It's like, I'm not gonna let it get me down. Boom.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I really do. And it's just the way, like the guy from Cali, when
Oh,
they
yeah.
filmed the report, that was man, that was so awesome. I'm like,
Yeah. like
The
everybody,
karma that's going to come from this is great.
it's like everybody on those shows, like first season and second season, they try to help each other. It's like,
Right.
hey, this your pit's on fire.
Yeah.
Hey, what can I do? What did I like? Matter of fact, yeah, the guy from Cali, Logan, when he tried to
Mhm.
make sausage, and then Thyron,
Yeah, when
he was like, "You missing the milk powder."
right.
He didn't have to tell
You
him
know,
that, and that was
he
early
he
on.
didn't. Right. And that I think that's indicative of how we try to convey how the barbecue community is. So
No
open and
secrets.
friendly,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
secrets. Everybody has their own style, their own way of doing things. You got your own you just can't reproduce exactly like somebody does just because they give you advice.
Yeah,
It's
Yep.
paying it forward is good
That's the
karma, you
best
know?
part. That's the best part about the two competitions that I did. That was the best part. It was we got our meats. Like, small story, we got our meats and stuff, and we're looking at all our brisket. They didn't let us pick. They just kind of gave us a little package randomly of
Right.
brisket, chicken, and ribs, and you're just like, all right, what I got what I got. And that night, everyone's setting the pits up and doing their thing and doing their trims, and everyone's doing it up. And as soon as all the meat was on, when it needed to be on, meat was cooling, whatever else, people started rolling around, coming over, checking out people's rigs, hanging
Yeah.
out. People started cooking grill snacks. So you were able to
Mhm.
like go around and you were like, people were making appetizers. And we're sitting there just having beers, taking a look at these water gravity smoker things I saw. I still don't even remember what the shit was, you know, and stuff. And you're just going around, and that camaraderie is there.
Yeah.
And the next year, I didn't do that competition, but they threw a wrench in the system for it. They gave them bison briskets.
Ooh.
And my buddy called me up. He goes, "Bro, I don't know how to cook a bison brisket." I'm like, "Oh, they did that to y'all? They did y'all dirty." Well, people don't know
Oh
bison
man.
is a very lean version of a cow. So they don't have the point. They have the point and the flat. It just doesn't have the fat vein like it does on our, cow, the briskets that we get or you can
Mhm.
get. So you have to introduce fat, wrap it in
Mm.
bacon, take that beef tallow that I make, or anyone can
Mhm.
make, and you put it in the fridge so it gets a little solid like Crisco, and
Yep.
you slather that thing down with fat all around it, and then you season that. That's the only time I would use a binder because that fat's gonna drip around and it's going to sit in a pan and it's going to protect that and not let it dry out. And you got to cook it a little lower and slower on
Mm.
those because they're super lean. And that's why I was telling them, cook it low and slow, watch your temps. Like, I don't even remember what I told them to bring it up to because you're breaking down the connective tissue, but it wasn't 205. I told them to check it, like probe check it as soon as it hit like 190 degrees.
Mm. Okay.
Start seeing if it was probe tender, but I didn't have to tell them that. And I'm glad I did because when I went, there's a lot of people with dry ass briskets because they didn't know. Some people knew, some people, because I
Right.
would go and I went to the competition, I'm trying it out, and I'm like looking at them going, you ain't had no fat or bacon, huh?
Well, that's where that help comes in.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
give everybody advice. You don't let another brother fail, and because you don't want to be associated with people that just be messing up food all the time. You want to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't like those people. It does
No,
take
no.
all kinds. We could,
Yeah.
put them in camps, barbecue camps.
But on the flip side of it, if someone gives you advice, be humble enough to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
'Cause-
learned a lot.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When like I said, I met Eddie. I was doing my briskets. Actually, the first person I took advice for was Big Mo, bringing my
Oh,
briskets to 205. I not personally, but watching his videos.
Right. Right.
And then I was watching Eddie because gotten into the food truck world. He's been doing it longer than me. And I'm like, he's like, how long? And I'm like, man, these brisket cooks are killing me. I'm sitting there cooking like old school, like 10 hours. I'm like, God. And he's like, crank that shit up, bro, and wrap it at 140. And I'm like, what? And he taught me how to hot and fast cook a brisket, which I ain't gonna talk about on here because nobody should try it unless like that's a dire emergency and call me, because that shit is insane,
do
but
it
it
right.
actually does work.
You gotta do
But
it
it
right.
also cannot work.
It sounds like it's a low margin of error.
There is no margin of error.
Oh God. Okay.
Wow.
No, won't
Like
wing
with the way
that.
I did it, the way I did it, it was like at 375, almost like yeah,
Woo.
and
Yeah, the
yeah.
heat coming from the top, right?
No, it was on the master bill. It was coming from the bottom. I
Oh.
put the fat cap on bottom, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fat cap bottom guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand that fat cap top people. That don't make no sense.
Yeah. I mean, heat on my smoker comes from the bottom, so it's just necessary. I needed to protect the meat.
Yeah, you protect it from the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Thyron won. Congratulations. I think
Congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
it was a great season. As I think you guys are speculating, I hope that it does expand because I think everybody should be acquainted to the great art of barbecue. Because I think people is either two spectrums. They underestimate it or they think it's too intimidating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe these, and maybe it's just, I know the competitions may be difficult, but maybe it does get people to try to at least get out there and cook something and maybe not mess up
Yep.
the chicken. you
Yeah.
know, they can
Yep.
take some techniques from what they saw on the show. They can go to, go on YouTube rabbit holes like a lot of people do, and they can try and fail and learn.
Learn some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, learn some stuff.
Don't
Get
be
out there,
afraid.
buy you
Yep.
some cheap meat and burn it and get better.
Well, for me, like just watching like MasterChef, I'm watching them do stuff that I was taught by my grandparents and great grandparents and parents. And I'm like, oh, is that what that's called? I'm like, I've been doing this shit for years. I'll be sitting there like cutting something some way or doing some, way I do a certain
Mhm.
thing in a pan or
Mhm.
with a dish, and I'm just like watching it, and I'm like, I do that.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's what that's called. Okay,
I've been shocking vegetables for a long time.
that too. I've been doing that way wrong. I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. But yeah, just getting out there, watching them cook stuff, going, oh, I might want to try that.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, like when I made some of my stuff on the food truck, I take pictures. People are asking me, like I've said on this podcast before, my recipes aren't secrets. Now am I going to give you the base sauce for my barbecue sauce? No. But
You're not
you
dumb.
like here's internet. I don't know why people aren't buying my shit.
Right? Because they made it at home.
but I will definitely tell you how to make an hors d'oeuvre, like my pork shooters. Anything. I've been there when I was hot and heavy in my sauce company. I would literally Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, 4th of July. If I was already cooking those days, but I was also on like phone duty. Like the first year, I just got a random call one day, and this guy was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Hello." He goes, "Is this sauce boss?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "My smoker won't go above 180 degrees, and I got a turkey." I'm like, first of all, calm down, And I looked at my phone. His name wasn't even in my phone, and I'm like, "Why you?" He goes, "I bought some of your product. I follow you on Facebook." I was just like, and he just called. Like,
Wow.
I was like, okay, cool. Sit down, and I was, it doesn't happen like I'm not sitting there in a call center, but I would get a couple calls, and I would sit there and talk people through their emergency.
Right.
And the first thing I've always tell folks, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Mhm.
Calm down.
That's
It's not
right.
that serious.
Yep. It's not that serious. A calm cook, a calm pit master is a good pit master.
Yeah, you
pit
translate that
master,
anxiety to your food.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
translate that anxiety to all the people around you. And then you're just going, drop of a heart attack. Just chill, bro.
Yeah.
Just chill, bro.
And that's what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah.
Don't let people rush you either. Because you get sometimes when you're at a cookout, they be like, when the food will be done, when the food will be done. Then you start making
20-minute
mistakes.
brisket.
You either give it to them, you try to crank the heat up and give it to them burned up, or you pull it off too early and
So
now it's half cooked.
Yep. So T, when that used to happen, I took something I used to do when I was in the military working on airplanes. You go out and you give your boss a, oh, you go out and look at the job. All right, cool. That job usually takes about 2 hours. All right, cool. We got it. Yeah, man, that's gonna take 2 hours. And you're in the middle of working, then they call you off the jet. Hey, man, how long is it gonna take? I'm like 3 hours. And every time they would call me off the jet, I would add an extra freaking hour. And they'd be like, man, I thought you said it was 2 hours. I'm like, well, it was 2 hours. Like 4 times ago since you've been asking me, so I got to reset, do all my shit. So I'm gonna add another hour. So when people on the grill would do that, I'd be like, yeah, I'll get that, and I would just sit down. And especially if I had a pile of done food, I would take my things and sit there with a beer and start eating outside. Be like, I'm gonna just eat this piece of chicken for about 20 minutes, and then I'll bring it in.
Damn. Yeah, you petty.
It depends. If there was
like
kids
Yeah.
and stuff, I would bring the food. But if it's like we hang out with my boys and y'all fucking around, you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait. Don't be asking me.
Right.
It's done when it's done.
Right. Yeah. Great conversation, guys. We talked to some people through how to get through the summer with grilling. We talked about the importance of Memorial Day, and we talked about Barbecue Showdown Season 2. Congratulations again, Mr. Matthews. Hope we get to talk to you, and hope all the blessings going forward. So, guys,
Oh yeah.
tell the peoples how to find you on the socials. Let's start with you, T.
At TWBBQ, at TW.BBQ on TikTok and Instagram, and also TWBBQ on YouTube.
All right. And Felix.
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook under Who Datz Food and Catering. If you don't see the logo, you're in the wrong spot. So that's what you're doing in about 6-ish days. You can find me around Tampa, Florida. So if you're around Tampa, Florida, Who Datz Food and Catering will be relocating either further south. At the rate I'm going, I'm gonna have to figure out how to put floaters on here because I might be in Cuba. I just keep getting lower.
Hey, Havana.
Hey.
We have some mojitos.
Mojitos.
All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. You'll be making some Cuban pork sandwiches all day, man.
Oh, dude.
Man, let me know.
Oh, you never. I might. I need to find it. I don't have room for a press. I need a press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. You guys stay blessed out there. I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. If you have any suggestions of what you want us to talk about, got any feedback, if you don't agree with anything that we said on here, or if you want to corroborate what we just said, leave us a voice memo. Send it to blacksmokebarbecue@gmail.com, or look in the show notes and leave a voice message. Hey, you might hear yourself on the show. So y'all be safe out there. Watch the grill, season the meat, cook the meat, bring it inside so people can eat it.
Yes. Temperature. Food safe temperatures.
Food safe temperatures. Y'all just relax and just let that thing work, man. And until next time, this is Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. We out.
Peace.